Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Control of City Hall up for grabs. Cara Spencer launches her bid to oust the current mayor.
Stormy start. It's possible for some of us Wednesday, especially if you're an early riser. We're tracking those rain chances and a big change in what it feels like by tomorrow evening.
Immunity granted. MoDOT workers cannot be sued in the death of a worker and her unborn child.
And every day since then, my life has been living hell.
What's behind the ruling from the Missouri Supreme Court? Tonight, the state's high court has spoken, leaving a local mother outraged. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. The family of Caitlin Anderson sued MoDOT supervisors, claiming they knew she was pregnant and failed to protect her. Brent Solomon is joining us to explain why the, quote, doctrine of official immunity is protecting those workers, Brent.
Well, Kelly, Mike, this evening I caught up with a former federal judge who describes the common law in detail. She admits many people don't see it as fair, including a grieving mother who just can't make sense of it.
If they would have followed the protocols, I would have been watching my grandson here at this park instead of sitting with you. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
Sitting in the Arnold Park, where she often took her daughter Caitlin for Easter egg hunts and birthday parties, Tanya Muskoff is reacting to Tuesday's news.
The people that killed my daughter and killed my grandson by not following their own safety protocols should have been held accountable.
Caitlin Anderson was a pregnant MoDOT worker assigned to a work project in South St. Louis County when a car hit her. She and her unborn son Jax died, as well as her co-worker James Brooks. Muskoff filed a wrongful death lawsuit, and the state's high court just decided the MoDOT supervisors cannot be sued due to what's called the doctrine of official immunity.
So it doesn't really have to do with willfulness or even the degree of negligence. It has to do with the fact that the individuals who are protected from the immunity are actually working in their capacity as state officials.
Our legal analyst Nanette Baker says you often see it applied to police officers and more recently some teachers.
It appears to be unfair in many cases, and so it's not unusual for people to have questions when the doctrine is applied. And even though there's been a wrong and there's been an accident or some act that has harmed someone, the fact that that person or those individuals or their family can't recover because of this doctrine appears to be unfair to lay people who are just looking at this.
And all she was doing was working, and she was deserving to live. And she was deserving to have that baby.
Before today's decision, Muskoff had already planned a 5K walk called Slow Down, Move Over. It will happen Saturday at Arnold City Park at 9 a.m. There's a $25 fee, which includes food and a t-shirt. You can find out more about that when you search this story on KSDK.com.
Thanks, Brent. We have some breaking news right now. All of the northbound lanes of I-55 approaching Loughborough are closed. A car went off the bridge abutment that supports the structure on the bridge. Crews were able to get to the driver. We do not have word on that driver's condition. Again, you should avoid that area.
We're still tracking some showers and the chance of thunderstorms in our area. Scott is here to let us know if it's going to be a problem for the morning commute. Scott?
Well, our Weather First forecast tracking out these showers and thunderstorms that are just now working into western portions of Missouri. For most of us, it's been a quiet evening. North of St. Louis, we've had a couple of brief showers, but your thunderstorms, they've all been in northwest Missouri, just starting to push into the Kansas City area and especially south and southwest of Kansas City, some of those stronger storms. But no warnings with any of these storms right now. And closer into St. Louis, most of the action tonight has been up into central portions of Illinois, although up towards Bowling Green, you had a couple of brief showers in the northern portions of Calhoun County as well. At this point, this is kind of how we're tracking this in overnight. It looks like just around the start of tomorrow morning's rush hour, there'll be some scattered showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder drifting through, but they're pushing out before the rush hour really gets going, and the roads should dry out, and we don't think we have big problems for tomorrow morning's rush hour. And temperatures will stay warm tonight. Still active out at Lambert tonight. Some of those flights a little delayed because of weather elsewhere across the country. So still some activity there at Lambert at this hour with flights coming and going, and still a few delays, but not because of the weather here. We'll talk about the changes coming later tomorrow that we think you'll really like, Kelly.
See you then, Scott. An execution date has been set for Marcellus Williams for September 24th. He's been on death row for more than 20 years for the murder of Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. She was stabbed 43 times inside her University City home. St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell filed a motion in January to overturn Williams' conviction, saying there is no DNA evidence linking him to the crime.
The NAACP is bringing attention to incidents of discrimination in the workplace. The chapter's president says workers in the St. Louis region are leaving their jobs after finding nooses. Adolphus Pruitt says the trend has to stop. There's been at least one incident every month this year. 2 private companies, along with Missouri Central Bus Company and the St. Louis City Refuse Department, were named.
We have to get a point across that this sort of behavior is not going to be tolerated.
The Refuse Department says it takes the claim seriously and says no formal complaint has been made. Pruitt said next month they're launching a social media and billboard campaign.
Police say an O'Fallon man secretly recorded up women's skirts as they were shopping, and there could be hundreds of more victims. This is Kevin Clayton. He is charged with 2 counts of invasion of privacy. A woman called police on Sunday saying Clayton put a cell phone in a shopping basket and then pushed it underneath her skirt at the Dollar Tree in O'Fallon. Police say there could be hundreds of more victims. They found more than 200 videos in the deleted folder on his phone.
It looks like he has done this more than once for sure, and we're glad to get him off the street.
Clayton pleaded guilty to a similar incident in January and is currently on probation.
Just 3 hours ago, the St. Charles City Council unanimously passed a resolution acknowledging the importance of libraries and opposing the possible shutdown of 3 branches in St. Charles County.
The city of Wentzville and St. Charles County have passed similar measures. 5 on your side's Laura Barteski just got out of that meeting, Laura.
Mike and Kelly, this resolution comes 26 days before these 3 branches could possibly close. And residents tell me today they really don't want these vital community resources to close.
You like to read books about dinosaurs and animals and the alphabet, numbers, you name it.
Brian Cornell says his family recently moved to the area near the Kisker Library branch, and coming to the library is a regular part of their routine.
We come here at least once a week, maybe 2 times a week, and trade out books, and it's a wonderful resource for us to allow her, opportunities to read all kinds of different books and learn about different things. And she loves it here. She likes to play and hang out, so it'll be really missed.
It's one of the branches on the chopping block, right alongside McClay Library and Deer Run, which would turn into a warehouse. About 64 jobs would also be cut.
What's happened to our city-county library district is unbelievable. The special meetings leading up to saying that the district is in financial trouble is concerning.
St. Charles City County Library officials say these closures and changes could happen because in 2 years, revenues will fall behind the costs. The library did not respond to our request for comment Tuesday, but CEO Jason Kuhl said at a board meeting last month, they've done everything they can and there's just nowhere else to cut.
We've changed hours, we closed on Sundays for a period of time. We really have, we're exhausting all possibilities, thinking as creatively as possible.
All 10 city council members in St. Charles don't want to see these closures happen, voting in favor of a resolution opposing them and recognizing the importance of libraries.
Roll call. Bill Otto.
Aye.
Vince Ratchford.
Aye.
Mary West.
Aye.
Michael Flendemeyer.
Aye.
Justin Faust.
Aye.
Michael Galba.
Aye.
Bart Haberstroh.
Aye.
Mark Hollander.
Aye.
Denise Mitchell.
Aye.
And Bridget Omes.
Aye.
The vote on the fate of those jobs and the library branches, is scheduled for the next library board meeting, and that's actually coming up. It's June 18th. Reporting live in St. Charles, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
There is a new alderman in Winfield. A runoff election was held today, and just about an hour ago, we learned Robert Roskowski III was elected to represent Ward 1. The special election was called for after a tie vote between Roskowski and Herb Crosby back in April.
Cara Spencer officially launched her campaign to challenge St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones tonight. Our political editor Mark Maxwell worked the crowded room to get a feel for who's behind Spencer's bid. Mark?
It was an interesting mix. Several vocal advocates of criminal justice reform, especially reforms inside the city jail, were in that room listening to Cara Spencer. That's a progressive group that backed Mayor Tashara Jones in 2021 and had something of a falling out with her after she took office. Spencer came close to winning that mayor's race last time around, and now she's asking voters, what if things had been different?
Cara Spencer asked this crowd of supporters to imagine the possibilities.
What would happen if I ran for mayor again? Can we turn this city around?
After one term under Mayor Tashara Jones, some city workers are ready for change.
The revenue division, the pay is so low, you can't get people not coming there because the pay is so low.
Why Cara Spencer?
She's supporting us, we supporting her.
She stood strong with them. She stood strong with us from the beginning on workers' rights. And that's for all city employees.
That's Dan Clark, the head of the firefighters union.
Right now, currently, we're 100 firefighters short.
He's convinced Spencer can improve the city's recruiting and rate of retention.
We need to be figuring out ways to get employees in here and then retaining them. And we're obviously not doing that right now.
And despite hundreds of thousands of ARPA dollars, our streets are still littered with potholes. The garbage still isn't getting picked up.
Spencer asked the crowd to imagine a mayor who was better at collaboration than conflict.
What would happen if I didn't ignore my colleagues, and I didn't ignore them? I leaned in, heard their concerns, addressed them, and worked together for a solution.
She pointed to her successful push to ban teens from carrying semi-automatic weapons out in the open.
Now we see a lot less of them, not just downtown, but throughout our neighborhoods. These are big wins.
That message appeared to catch on.
And I would like to be a part of the campaign or something. So
Roland Tabor, a choreographer who danced with MC Hammer and Usher, said Spencer's speech got him thinking about the city's future.
St. Louis got to go out of town and do things. I would like to bring the industry to St. Louis.
One thing Spencer said this town does better than any other, make beer.
Let's have a toast to St. Louis, the city we all love, and to working together to make it work again. St. Louis.
Not everyone in that room was 100% sold on Cara Spencer, not yet. One black voter from South City who told me a story about suffering racial discrimination in the workplace years ago. He told me he likes Spencer's, quote, wonkiness, referring to her background in mathematics, but said he's not quite sure he's sold yet on this whole idea that she's the savior, in his words, the city needs.
Does the United Nations give money to migrants entering the U.S. from Mexico? We verify. Weighing the risks and the benefits of using a psychedelic drug to treat PTSD.
As expected, we are tracking these showers and thunderstorms well to our west tonight. How much of this line holds together and when that front delivers the refreshing change to St. Louis.
We have another traffic alert to bring you. Right now, the Missouri Highway Patrol tells us a pedestrian has been hit on I-64. It's hard to tell what's happening here, but all of the westbound lanes of 64 at Chesterfield Parkway are blocked at this time. Chesterfield police are diverting traffic onto Boone's Crossing.
In less than 2 hours, there will be more restrictions at the border. This morning, President Biden signed an executive order shutting off access to asylum to migrants who cross the border illegally once the daily threshold of 2,500 have been met. The border will reopen when that number falls to 1,500. The exception, unaccompanied children. The measure takes effect at midnight.
The Verify team has been getting a lot of questions about how the federal government and humanitarian organizations are helping migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. Today, Adiane Detil with our National Verify team looked into a claim that the United Nations gives cash to migrants entering the U.S. from Mexico.
Multiple social posts claim the United Nations is giving out millions of dollars in cash to migrants trying to cross the southern border. Some of the posts suggest the UN is using U.S. tax dollars to help migrants enter the country. So let's verify. Does the United Nations give cash to migrants entering the U.S. from Mexico? These are our sources. There are 2 UN agencies that provide funding for migrants. the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, and the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees has a program for vulnerable migrants who choose to stay and seek asylum in Mexico. The agency says it does not provide any individual cash assistance to migrants who intend to enter the U.S. at the southern border. And until February of this year, the IOM ran a temporary assistance program for vulnerable migrant populations in Mexico that provided 3 months of assistance through secure electronic wallets, which resembled debit cards. The recipients could only use the money in Mexico for certain purchases, including food, medicine, clothing, or other essential items. In 2023, the program assisted 1,573 people. So, what about the claim that the UN is using U.S. tax dollars to help migrants enter the country via the U.S.-Mexico border? Verify reached out to the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration, which helps fund the UN's short-term monetary assistance programs in Mexico. It is true. The United States has provided millions in funding to the UN, and it is the organization's biggest contributor. But the Department of State also confirmed what the UN told us. These assistance programs are only for families staying in Mexico while they await a decision from Mexico's refugee agency on their case. The Department of State added that this money is meant to help families safely stay where they are and not fall prey to smuggling organizations. So we can verify, no. The United Nations does not give cash to migrants entering the U.S. from Mexico. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Have something you'd like us to verify? Just send us your request at verify@ksdk.com.
A psychedelic drug could be used to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. A Food and Drug Administration committee met today to consider using MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, in combination with therapy to treat PTSD. MDMA is a Schedule I controlled substance and produces experiences of emotional relatedness and emotional openness, but there are safety concerns because of the potential for abuse. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us. He has the weather first forecast. Scott?
Yeah, and as we look at the first 7 days out of our 10 days here, the focus is really on tomorrow. And then, of course, the weekend. Tomorrow morning, our rain chance. And then on Saturday, we have that chance for some scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, especially going farther west and southwest of St. Louis. Right now, most of us are pretty quiet and have enjoyed a warm, somewhat muggy evening around St. Louis with isolated showers farther to the north. The thunderstorms have stayed well to our west. Some of them have been strong across parts of Oklahoma, back into Kansas, trying to push into Missouri, southwest Missouri right now with a severe thunderstorm watch. And that goes down into Oklahoma. And then we have the potential for flooding as you head farther down into Arkansas. That front's making progress into the northwest part of the state. Ahead of it, we're finding those scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. As the front advances on to the east tonight, we see that shower and thunderstorm action right along the front and ahead of it, try to move into our area just before daybreak. Then it tends to fizzle a bit and break up some as we go through the morning. By midday, the front south and east of St. Louis, clouds will be exiting and any rain chance will quickly shift away from St. Louis, while much drier air, less humid, comfortable air spills in across the region. So let's get you looking at tomorrow morning here around 4 o'clock. Scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder trying to move into the metro area. Perhaps some of this has a brief downpour or two, but it's quickly through here just as the morning rush hour essentially starts. And then we think after that we're drying out. So much of the morning rush hour should be rain free. After 7 or 8 o'clock, most of it's gone. We clear out tomorrow afternoon. It gets incredibly comfortable as we head into Wednesday and Thursday as those humidity levels drop off. 66 our dew point right now. It is still 79 degrees in St. Louis after our high of 86. We did get 2/100 of an inch of rain today in the rain gauge. Maybe get a little more than that early tomorrow morning. Overnight tonight, dropping into the upper 60s to lower 70s. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow. And again, we keep the rain chances in tomorrow morning, especially sliding east of St. Louis. And then during the afternoon, we're clearing out. It becomes quite comfortable, and that sets us up for a very nice end of the week, Thursday and Friday. Low to mid-80s for highs, but much less humid. We go into Friday night and Saturday. Clouds are on the increase. That chance for rain Saturday is especially southwest of St. Louis. If you're heading down to Lake of the Ozarks, maybe to Branson this weekend, odds are Saturday's going to be a bit damp in those areas, and maybe some of us will flirt with a few showers.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Nothing like the Bald Knobbers in Branson. The Cardinals are hitting homers, but was it enough in Houston? SLU opened up basketball practice today with a Japanese flair, and we say goodbye to a really smart baseball man.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The Cardinals and Astros seem to always play great games. Bring Houston back to the NL Central. Another fun one tonight, deep in the heart of Texas. Alec Burleson is hotter than a wood-fired oven. He homers for the 3rd straight game. It's 1-0 Cardinals. Andre Palante was rocked in the 3rd. Yanier Diaz delivered a 3-run homer, and just like that, the Astros led it 6-1. Sweet moment in the 6th. Mason Wynn homers in his hometown. He had about 25 family and friends on hand also. We have a 7-4 game. Nolan Gorman looks like Roger Maris. His 6th homer in his last 8 games, number 14 overall. We have a 7-5 game. But the Cardinals' defense is falling apart. Gorman with an error, 23 errors in 19 games for the Birds. Astros win it 8-5. Cardinals reliever Keenan Middleton is done for the season before he ever got started. The fireballing right-hander will undergo surgery to repair the flexor tendon in his pitching forearm that he injured in spring training. The Josh Schertz era has begun for SLU basketball. He is a hoops junkie. In his free time, he goes online and watches games played in Europe or an NBA team who he thinks runs a creative offense. He says his life is all hoops, family, and food. Kind of sounds familiar. Today, Schertz and SLU began their summer workouts at Shavitz. Robbie Avila was there, popping 3-pointers. His Indiana State teammate, Isaiah Swope, was on the floor but not practicing because of a minor knee procedure. One of Coach's favorite words is Kaizen. It's a Japanese business philosophy on improving each day. In fact, Larry Hughes Jr. had it tattooed on his neck before Schertz was even named the head coach.
So Schertz, I showed him. He was like, "That's crazy." So maybe that was God just putting us together like that. So it was great. It was great.
You're the coach's pet moving on.
I actually saw it when I got here on his neck, and I said, "Is that a Kaizen tattoo?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he was actually on his neck. And when I met with him the first time, I looked at his neck. I said, "Is that a Kaizen tattoo?" He's like, "Yeah." And so it was pretty unique that that he had that on his neck.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC is coming off an exciting draw over the weekend against Messi and Miami. But Rasmus Alm went down with a knee injury. He's expected to be sidelined for at least a bit, and with the other recent injury to midfielder Tomas Ostrak, City will have to rally without a few key pieces.
As a team, we just need to stick together. As cliche as it may sound, yes, 1 or 2 players may change the starting lineup, but the identity stays the same.
It's gonna be. We will miss them absolutely, but in this team we got people that can show up, step up, and they want to play. So now it's time to show that.
Finally tonight, a word about an old friend who passed away, Brock Hanky. He was a baseball savant. He did my radio show last Wednesday and passed away 2 days later. He was born 76 years ago in Webster Groves. He spent much of his time in the press box at Busch Stadium. He had a love affair with baseball, and he was way ahead of his time with the analytics of the game. He used hard statistics to back all of his points. When he wasn't writing in the Riverfront Times, then he was writing the baseball abstracts with the great Bill James. He never talked to a player ever because he didn't want to be emotionally attached. It was strictly stats for Brock. And his most impressive number was his IQ, which was 150. What impressed me the most was he would often come into our radio show carrying his oxygen tank. It wasn't easy to do that, but it didn't matter to Brock. You see, he loved talking baseball. Brock Hanky will be missed, and that'll do it.
Frank, thanks. It's the perfect pairing, pets and pizza. How Emos is helping you add a furry friend to your family.
The Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk is this coming weekend. It's Saturday, June 8th at 9 a.m. in Tower Grove Park, and our own Kay Quinn is the MC. Money raised supports breast cancer research, care, and support. To register, text Komen to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link. Emos is really delivering. The St. Louis favorite is teaming up with Stray Rescue to help pets find forever homes. Emos will cover all adult adoption fees for the entire month of June. That's for dogs and cats over 6 months old. Each adoption includes spay, neuter, up-to-date vaccines, and a microchip. But there's more. You'll also get a $20 Emos gift card to celebrate with your new pet.
Mission accomplished. Local veterans return home tonight from the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight's 106th mission. It was the culmination of a day-long trip to our nation's capital. More than 60 veterans boarded the flight this morning from Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Veterans who served in Vietnam, World War II, and the Korean War made the trip. Thank you for your service, and a reminder that the 80th anniversary of D-Day is on Thursday. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.